Hey, I'm George from MovieWeb. How are you, Kyle?
I'm good. How you doing, George?
Good, good. Excited to be here and to talk about this movie. Um, I don't know if you're like me in this, but like Happy Gilmore was the original, an incredible experience that I saw when I was much younger and loved and just part of this amazing era of Adam's career and of comedy. And I'm curious what it's like to come in and obviously you've been accomplished in comedy in your career up to this point, but to take on something of this magnitude in just the cultural lore of comedy with Adam.
Yeah, I think I just embraced it wholeheartedly. I think one of the things is just taking that leap forward, and you don't really, I don't know. I think the way that I did it was with a lot of love and respect to the first one. I think that's the first thing you got to do is respect the first one and love the first one, and thankfully I do. I mean, like you say, I was raised on Adam Sandler films, and that was Happy Gilmore was one of the first movies that I watched when I was like 12, and I thought to myself there was a little voice in the back of my head that's kind of like, "Hey, how the heck are they making this?"
Huh.
Like it was one of the first movies that got me thinking like I laugh when my friends talk. Like I laugh at my buddies. Like my grandpa has a camera. We got a home camera here. How do we? And so I actually think that the first movie was one of the things that pointed me in the direction of this career, which then after 15 years working in comedy, all of a sudden I'm doing the second one. So yeah, I kind of like just have to let all that go right through me, feel it, and then try and channel that wonderful euphoric feeling onto set every day, where every day is a pinch me moment,
Hmm.
and really just try and focus up and make the funniest thing possible and get to work. It's surreal. It was very
Yeah, I
surreal.
mean that is that's a great answer, and some of that really comes across the fun. Some of the fun you guys have, and some of the love you have for what you're doing. Um, you've in between, when you first saw that movie and when you started thinking about making them and then coming here, you worked in a lot of great comedy with a lot of comic talent that's like, from some of the TV shows you directed to the longer season, What We Do in Shadows and stuff. What are some of the things that like really impacted you and your style and your approach to comedy that define how you handle it, like the work itself? Because comedy's tricky, and I don't know that audiences always realize that there's something, it's a very different mechanism creating a comedy than another kind of movie, or show.
Yeah, yeah. I think comedy is especially like broad comedy, which is like trying to make everybody laugh, trying to make the whole crowd laugh. Not the cerebral where just the intellectuals get it or whatever, and
It's a
not
great
just
distinction. Yeah.
yeah, like trying to do the broad comedy where you're making the entire room laugh. I think you kind of have to have an element on set of trying to make the entire room laugh. Um, you have and there's a vibrancy to that comedy that has to be there on set. Otherwise, it's not going to come through the screen. There's got to be an energy that's coming through the screen at you, and that's going to translate for the next however long this movie exists, which is pretty much forever. So I try to approach it like, one of my first projects that really hit was Workaholics.
Mm,
And that was birthed out of like a party. It really was. It was birthed out of a desire to have fun.
mm.
And so I think, and let's face it, like, let's be real. When me doing this job is like a desire to have, it's fun. I love this job. Um, but coming from the party and the desire to have fun, I kind of try and keep that mentality going when you're on set making a comedy. I kind of try and see like not just what makes this person laugh, but how can I say something that'll make everybody laugh, and then they're making each other laugh, and now everybody's kind of chuckling, and we're not worried about nothing. We got take two, we got take three, we can get
Yeah.
there, like we're gonna get there.
kind of like a contagious energy and vibe that's like, yeah, like catches and takes over and transmits.
But don't get it twisted. It's very calculated in kind of how it is regimented in its craft because we are
Mm,
getting a job done. It's not like that. It's like working very, very hard to appear effortless.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a yeah, interesting paradox. I'm
Yeah.
curious, you've worked with Adam, you mentioned how important he is to your career. Are you and Adam collaborating again in the future? Is there anything coming up? You know, you've done a bunch of projects before.
I mean, look, Adam, whenever he wants to work, I'm down to work. Um, I hope to do something with him in the future. I really do. I think he's really fun to be shoulder to shoulder with and creating. Like we have similar sensibilities and we have because obviously because his comedies raised me, so he injected his sensibilities into me at a young age and now here I am saying, "Wouldn't this be funny?" And he's like, "Exactly."
He raised comedy raised a lot of us. Thanks so much for the time, Kyle. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
of course,
Congrats
of
on the
course.
project.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.